Ladies and gentlemen, Nancy Pelosi has postponed the impeachment vote, and it's really interesting. You have 3 years of Democrats saying that President Trump worked with Russia, obstructed justice, has issues with the IRS and his taxes, had Michael Cohen pay, there was the big issue with Avenatti and Stormy. And what else? Then there's the Ukraine call. Then there's his messages on social media. Then there's him abandoning our allies and his foreign policy, which is exactly why I'm voting President Trump in 2020. Democrats want to send Americans back into conflict. President Trump wants to bring Americans home from conflict. It's not that difficult to understand. And so this isn't rocket science. If you truly feel that President Trump has engaged in impeachable offenses, then impeach him. Pelosi does not want to do that. Pelosi doesn't want to do that because guess what? It's profitable. Well, it's better for Clinton if all of this is postponed. Now, this is all about Clinton. Democrats don't have a political party. There's nobody that runs that political party. Okay, Biden and Warren aren't going to become nominee. So there's not a Democrat out there that says, you know what, I'm really excited about Warren. I'm really excited about Biden. Nobody is. Biden is actually losing more money than he's raising, which is pretty much should tell you that the campaign is not viable. Biden got 1%, not even 1% in Iowa in 2008. He's never come close. Never, ever, ever, ever has he even come close to becoming a Democratic nominee. Not only did he not win a primary, he only got 1% of Iowa in 2008. Now, he was 4 years younger, more coherent, had even less issues than he does now. He could have run in 2016. He didn't run for the same reasons that he's not really running now. Biden, okay, the Democratic frontrunner, the way Democrats work is they're very different from Republicans. Republicans didn't want Trump, and they got Trump. Democrats didn't want Bernie Sanders. They sure did not get him. They cheated him. And then they just anointed Clinton. Clinton and Bill and the Golden Moo run the Democratic Party. This is a political machine. We've seen political machines. Tammany Hall. This is not some kind of bizarre, outlandish theory. They literally cheated Bernie Sanders. The DNC emails forced Debbie Wasserman Schultz to resign. They blamed Russia for interfering in the election by infiltrating the DNC. But again, if they also hacked the campaign emails, Cheryl Mills, and I wrote a Daily Caller article about this, Cheryl Mills actually states within the emails, yeah, President Obama knows that Clinton doesn't have a state.gov. So it's like, why wouldn't they then infiltrate Clinton's servers that stored top secret and special access program intelligence? So the narrative is they only went after the DNC emails and Clinton's campaign emails to embarrass her, but they wouldn't have ever tried to get top secret and special access program intelligence and thousands of classified emails from Clinton's servers. And you say, well, you know what, they didn't go back in time. Well, they knew that they were at Platte River and Dado Inc. So they were being backed up at Platte River and Dado Inc. So the Russian government, Putin, wasn't smart enough. They were smart enough to get 20% of U.S. uranium capacity, but they weren't smart enough to realize that Clinton had private servers outside of the United States government. All of this, ladies and gentlemen, is a political machine deceiving millions upon millions of people with nonsense. And the same people who voted for Clinton in 2016 are going to be the same people who will vote for Clinton in 2020. The difference being, she's not going to win. Trump is going to win. It's just a matter of what media, and it's just a matter of what Democrats do in terms of a temper tantrum, in terms of trying to just warp the minds of people. There are people who don't want to be friends with anyone who's a Trump supporter. I mean, it's gotten as if that's really going to change anything, but it's gotten to the point where they've convinced themselves they're on the side of justice, that Americans have to stay in regions of conflict. Anything Trump does, if he found the cure for a horrendous disease, they would say, oh, well, pharmaceutical stocks are going to suffer. Nothing he does, like, Trump has altered their brains, their psyche, the way they see reality, because they cannot look into the mirror. So they can't impeach President Trump. So Pelosi has postponed impeachment. Doesn't give a timeline on impeachment. But I thought he was just the most horrible person on the planet. Now, oh my God, he wanted to pressure the Ukraine for political reasons. Well, what do you think all of Obama's administration was? It was all done from purely political reasons. When he went to Flint, Michigan, and drank water in a shameful publicity stunt, what was that an example of? Was that an example of something that had nothing to do with politics? No. Who knows what he thought he would gain, but it was a political move. Democrats always run on politics. That's all they do is run on politics. That's all they do. They run on politics, they lose, and then when they lose, they say, well, you know, it's another country's fault. Another country informed you that we were cheating Bernie Sanders, so therefore Trump was working with another country. Let's investigate for 3 years. It's the most nonsensical. You're talking about conspiratorial fantasy. And then they're the ones who say, oh, well, Trump lies so much. Yeah, okay. If you held him to the same standard of proof, if sometimes he's, the crowd size or the popular vote, whatever. There are things he says that are not accurate, Trump. But they're nothing compared to owning servers outside of the United States government for convenience and deleting yoga emails. And Attorney General Loretta Lynch meeting with Bill Clinton to speak about golf, Brexit, and grandchildren. And President Obama saying you can keep your insurance, but also that he didn't know that his own Secretary of State had servers outside of the United States government. Okay, so or that he really truly felt that Flint water was safe when it wasn't, and he was drinking it for people to see and then think that, okay, their water's finally safe. You're looking, ladies and gentlemen, at a political machine running on the fumes of outrage that they've already hit the iceberg. They hit the iceberg in 2016. They just haven't sunk yet. So now they don't even have the courage, the chutzpah, the willpower, the determination, the value system, the honor to impeach President Trump. As a Trump supporter, go ahead and impeach him. It'll only make him stronger. He's like the Obi-Wan Kenobi of politics. Do whatever you want to do. If you think you can get President Trump, do it. Go ahead and impeach President Trump. But just remember that the longer you wait, just to time it or to kind of make it seem that everything is organic and everything is just spontaneous and, oh my God, Clinton's running. This is something that is completely, nobody believed this would even happen. This is amazing. My goodness, Clinton's running. That's really amazing. I mean, who predicted this? H.R. Goodman. 2017, the articles below. In 2017, I wrote in the Huffington Post, and I said, Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. Now, if you check my segment prior to this one, Moody's, the Wall Street analytical firm, predicts that Trump's going to win in a landslide. Now, he'll defeat Clinton also, but it could be closer. Clinton's going to spend well over $2 billion. She spent $1.2 in 2016. You don't think with the hysteria? There are people who are rabid, frothing at the mouth. This is not about politics anymore. This is about the psychology. This is about the emotional state of people who cannot stand Trump. This has nothing to do with politics anymore, people. That's why they don't even understand how ironic it is that they're not impeaching President Trump after saying he committed all of these crimes. Because it's pretty easy. You bring up the fact that Clinton had servers outside of the United States government with top secret and special access program intelligence. That's it. It's game over. That's a fact. And it's not for Comey to say, well, we know no reasonable prosecutor. There are Matthew Whitaker, Joe DeGeneva, Victoria Tenzing, a whole lot of prosecutors and attorneys would have indicted Clinton. Actually, the top legal counsel at the FBI would have. So this is a situation, people, where it's like this is something that is a systemic issue within the United States government or within the United States political system, where you have a political machine where millions upon millions of people, the entire political machine is pretending or either doesn't know or either is pretending or doesn't want to know that Democrats are run by two people, Bill and Hillary. That's it. That's it. Is there any Democrat on the planet who truly believes? I was speaking to a buddy of mine today, and I asked him, do you really think, because he's a hardcore Democrat, I said, do you really think that Biden or Warren are going to be the nominee? And I could tell from his answer, he's like, yes. And I could tell he was just saying it just to be like, to save face. Nobody believes it. No, not one person within the Democratic Party truly believes in their heart that Biden's going to become the nominee. He's not going to have enough money to continue to run. He spent more than he raised. That's not the hallmark of a winning campaign. You should be breaking records, which is what Clinton did. Obviously, she did so for not a winning campaign, but, Clinton runs in terms of finances. We know from Donna Brazile. We know from Kenneth Vogel. We know from honest people. Now, Donna Brazile wasn't honest throughout the election, obviously, but she was honest in saying, look, they run the DNC. There's a secret agreement. It is what it is, people. It is what it is. It is what it is. They don't want to impeach Trump because they can't impeach Trump too quickly. They will eventually. But they're doing it to coincide in some way with Clinton. Look, the IG report's going to come out. McCabe's going to get indicted. You're going to have a whole bunch of all of these things, this confluence of events taking place. And people say, well, no, she's not running. No. Don't project your greatest fears. Just because you're petrified doesn't mean that Clinton says, millions of people are frightened. And half of these people are Democrats. You think that Clinton says, well, I don't want to frighten people. I wouldn't want to make it seem that I don't care what they think. So Pelosi has no timetable. Pelosi puts no timetable on impeachment inquiry. That's because they want to stretch it out and get as much media coverage as possible. The timetable will depend on the truth line. Here we go. Look. You're looking, ladies and gentlemen, at a political party that's being dismantled before your very eyes. There is no Democratic Party. There is no Democratic Party. It is a public relations entity that serves basically Bill and Hillary, and this is not like some kind of bizarre theory. They just happen to take control of the finances of the political party. That's it. It's not that difficult to understand. It's a political machine that's run by two people, one former president for 8 years, and then another with his wife with unbridled ambition, not seen since Attila the Hun. So this is not that difficult to understand. They cheated Bernie Sanders. They lost. They had to save face. Democrats really do believe, a lot of them, that, well, you know what, it's still fair. Well, who do you think is going to win? Well, we don't know yet. You think Biden or Warren? Well, no. Well, then who do you have next? Who do you have then? Well, we don't know, but we're just going to let it play itself out. Well, you know what's going to take place. If you see the dorsal fin, if you see the golden muumuu's dorsal fin coming at you from 50 yards away, okay, it's not Flipper. It's Jaws. Okay, if you see like a big dorsal fin and you're in the ocean and dolphins, they usually hang out with each other. So and it's a big dorsal fin, you're like, no, it's Jaws. So they see this and like, oh my God, no. Could it be? Yeah. That dorsal fin coming at you ain't Flipper. It's called the golden muumuu. And, at the end of the day, people, just embrace it, enjoy it, because this is going to get really amusing. This is really going to get amusing, and you need to watch this channel from here on out. Tell your friends about H.A. Goodman's other channel also. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it is happening, people. It is happening. And they're not impeaching Trump until, her campaign gets underway or is close to formally announcing. Give me your thoughts below. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right this second. Thank you very much. The link is below.